Hey everybody, it is a lovely sunny day. Stitch is hiding under the car because I don't know if you see over there is a big tree trimming truck and he is afraid of big trucks. So it's just me and the pups today. It is National Girlfriends Day and I have a lot of them, and thank you for every one of you. Today in the trials. Yeah, actually stuff did happen on Friday. I'm going to tell you all about it. Some of it I told you on Saturday, some of it I didn't, so stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Crafting and Crime Daily, the show where I bring you recaps of live trials and other true crime stories, in addition to vlogging about my life. So if you don't want to listen to one and you want to listen to the other, you can just kind of, in the future, I'm going to be doing chapters. As many of you know, I don't do them now because of editing time crunch. I have to do it on my break at work. I am no longer employed. Actually, I am till the end of the month. So I have one more month to work. And then after that, you're going to start seeing chapters. But the like button has said he will help me with it. So please hit the like button on your way in or out today. That's down in that bottom row. Just like hit the button and it'll light up for you. It's really cute. And it is absolutely free to subscribe to my channel. Yeah, I don't charge you anything. So subscribe to the channel. As you can see, there's nothing here. Nothing on the table except for a drink. Well, there's a reason for that, because this morning I was like wrestling with the light stand that is the iPad is on, and somehow knocked into something that knocked over my cup of coffee, which didn't have a lid on it. So then I ran and grabbed the only towel I could find was the big blanket towel. So I had coffee all over the light pad. There was not a painting on here, thank goodness. Just a light pad was sitting here. There was coffee everywhere, so I had to clean that up. Not a great way to start the morning, but it is Monday. And so I went and got some water instead. I stayed up both nights this week until like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. My mind is just going. And if you look at me the wrong way, I'm going to start crying. Don't say the wrong thing to me. Don't look at me wrong, because that's just the mood that I'm in. Figuring things out. Yes. So one of the things I have done, and if you guys could support me in this, I have signed up for Poshmark. Now, I'm not sure how you find me on Poshmark. So a lot of people are following me, but I think it's because they want me to buy their stuff. But I have boxes and boxes of old clothing that I wore when I was an attorney and when I was, administrator in the hospital. Like when, my skinny pencil skirts and things like that I'm going to sell on Poshmark. And we'll see how that goes. I will find my username on Poshmark. I will put it here. And if you wouldn't mind, go to Poshmark and follow me. Yeah. I don't know if that's against the rules or not for me to ask you to do that, but if you don't want to, you don't have to, but it's okay. Because what I want to do is start reselling. I want to open an Etsy shop. Not Etsy, I'm sorry, eBay. I want to open an eBay store and start reselling, going to yard sales, finding things, because it just sounds like such a fun thing to do. I'll give that a try while I'm looking for other employment. So one of my sweet friends, more knitting stuff, bless her heart. She's like, Rebecca wants to knit. I'm going to give her the equipment to do it. Okay, so look at this, guys. It is an Addy. It's made in Germany. Skasel Rocket. Long taper and sharp tip. Slick turbo finish, smooth joins, pliable cable. So it's knitting needles with a cable, which I have a set of bamboo ones, but she kind of likes to get she likes to offer me things so I can get a feel of different styles of hooks and different weights and different material. So this is metallic, made in Germany by Addie. That's pretty cool. And these are, I love the Susan base that she got me. So these are, the other ones she got me, I think, were plastic. These are metal, but they are for the chunkier yarns. They're the larger size needles, because I have a lot of chunky yarn in this section here. So that's so cool. All the way up to a size US 15. Okay, that's pretty cool. Thank you. Some people support the channel with their monetary donations, and some people just like to send me friend mail, and it is deeply appreciated when you add to the content of the channel. It is so much appreciated. So what is today? Today is National Friends Day, Girlfriends Day. I have tons. Do you have one like me from childhood? I don't, and here's why. Because I grew up as an army brat and we were always moving, so I just collect them. You know, wherever I go, I collect girlfriends. And now I'm on YouTube and I have hundreds of girlfriends. But I will tell you that I have a special bond with each and every one of you. It's not the same bond, but it is a bond. Yeah, I feel like there are many of you that I could pick up the phone and call, and you would have a conversation with me, and it would be like we just had coffee earlier in the week. And you have no idea how that warms my heart. It really does. So, where am I at today? Oh, it's August 1st. What was the point of me saying that? Because it is the first day of The Great Escape, the amazing diamond painting landscape adventure. All right. So while I was up late last night, because we were all up, everybody was waiting because you couldn't start until midnight Eastern time. So we all started at midnight Eastern time. A lot of us did. Not everybody, but a lot of us did. So I worked just down in this little itty bitty area here where the flowers are. And grass and flowers, lots of grass, lots of green in this painting. So this is called Wool Gathering. The artist is John Sloan. The size of this painting is 71 by 56. Now, it is not the largest paintings I have. It's not one of my larger paintings. I would have to say this one is kind of it's funny because when I first started diamond painting, this would be considered very large. Now they're so much larger than this. Isn't that crazy? And I have my little kitten here. I don't know if you can see her. She's chasing it's in a goldfish. There's a goldfish there in the goldfish bowl, and she's chasing. I'll take a little close-up picture so you can see. So I did a Saturday edition. I told you what happened on Friday with Catherine McManawa. I said, will this ever end? Oh no, it will never end, because guess who else was in court on Friday? Yes, Charlie Adelson. I told you he's in custody now. No bond. So this was a case conference for Charlie Adelson. This is where both parties come before the judge and they say where they're at in the discovery process. The attorney defending Charlie Adelson, we have not seen this player before. He's new to the game, so he introduced himself to the judge. Seems like a very nice guy. And he has asked for what is known in Florida as an Arthur hearing. And that is a hearing where they will set aside a few hours where the prosecution will bring their evidence in support of keeping him detained. Like, they'll have to show what evidence they have that he should not be released. And this judge has gone through so much of this so many of these trials on this same subject matter, I don't even think he needs the hearing. But nonetheless, right now, Charlie Adelson is being detained without bond. And his family has a lot of money. They can afford a bond. They just haven't set one yet. So he has asked for an Arthur hearing. The other thing that happened on Friday with them is that the judge said, where are you in the discovery process? And the prosecution says that they have turned over everything that they have. The defense is saying that there's some things they don't have or they can't find. So they're in the process of kind of like working very amicably together to just point out, here's where you can find it. What you think you're missing, here's where you can find it, that kind of thing. This paper's going to blow. I have not put down release papers on this yet because I ordered some special ones and I'm waiting for those to come in. Where I need drills. So one of the things that both sides said to the judge was that they were hoping to have another case management conference in November, early December, to further inform the judge of where they're at. And at that time, they were going to ask for a trial date in January or February. So early next year, we may be sitting here again listening to the evidence about the murder of Dan Markel and how this conspiracy came about through this defendant, Charlie Adelson, who we believe was he was the victim, FSU law professor's ex-wife's brother. Yeah. Who hired his girlfriend's baby's daddy and head of the Latin Kings down in Miami to go kill Dan Markel. He put out a hit on him. Also, on Friday, we got to hear more testimony in the Alex Jones case. Now, the Nicholas Cruz case, they were not in session. They are in session today, so I will bring you more of that. Nicholas Cruz is the Parkland school shooter. The plaintiff is the plaintiff attorney is finishing up his case. In the Alex Jones case, I keep doing more research because strange things happen in this case that I just don't get. It's just one of the weirdest cases I've ever had the chance to watch. And one question in my mind was, sometimes the defendant is there, sometimes he's not. What's with that? So I found out that at the beginning of this trial, he claimed that he has a medical issue that requires that he may not be in court all the time. I don't know what the issue is, but on Friday, they put on the stand Owen Troyer, who is a guest, not really a guest host. He's another personality on this InfoWars website. They actually, they were shut down off of all social media. So they just run off of a website. They run their whole radio show and all their content, all their supplement sales is done off a website. And this is, Alex Jones can't be there 24/7. So this is he's a young gentleman, very well spoken. He's very articulate, and he is just kind of the mouthpiece for Alex Jones when Alex Jones is not there. So he's on the stand, and one of the things he was asked on the stand was, where were you at on Tuesday this week? We noticed Alex wasn't here. Well, as it turns out, he and Alex were doing a radio show. So instead of suffering from whatever this medical condition is that requires that Alex can't be in the courtroom, he was doing a radio show. He was doing his radio show where he was talking about the trial with this guy who's a witness. So the judge said, I need to ask you a few questions. Did your attorney explain to you that you are a witness in this case and that you were under the rule? And the guy says, what rule? And she said, the rule of sequestration means you cannot talk to any other person in this case except an attorney. You cannot talk to any of the parties, including your boss, Alex Jones. You cannot talk to anyone about this case. If you do, you are subject to contempt of court. And all of this, everything you testify can be stricken. And he just sat there with this bewildered look on his face. And then she asked his lawyer to stand up, the lawyer for Alex Jones. And at this particular time, Alex is in the courtroom. So Alex Jones' lawyer stands up, and she said, did you not inform the witnesses that they cannot speak to other witnesses or other parties to this action? And he goes, I did, Your Honor, but apparently not to your satisfaction. And she says, I know you're a first-year lawyer. I'm tired of this aw shucks stuff. Okay, enough already. Sit down. She does not like the defense at all. I can't believe she's not holding Alex Jones in some kind of contempt, but I don't know. I mean, how is he getting away with this? How can you just leave the courtroom where you're being sued? Although there really is no requirement that you sit there. Oftentimes in the civil suits, I defended nursing homes for many, many years. And the owners of the nursing homes, they had the right to sit there at the table with us. Some did. Many, many did not. And sometimes they wanted to, and you didn't want them to, because they would come to court dressed in khakis, and and you're like, wait a minute, you're a businessman, and this is how you dress to go to court. Yeah. So there really was no requirement that they be there. So maybe it's the same thing here, but you cannot simultaneously be doing a podcast or a radio show where you're talking about the trial. No, you're a party to that action. And you're talking to a witness in that action for 3 hours at least. It was probably more. He couldn't recall how much time. This party, InfoWars and their parent company, Freedom of Speech, LLC, they're coming off looking very laissez-faire. They just could care less. Go ahead. Give us a judgment. We don't care. We're going to keep operating. We've already filed for bankruptcy. We're continuing to pay our employees. We're continuing to put out a show. We're continuing to sell our supplement products. The other thing I found out is that many of these supplements that this Alex Jones sells are not approved by the FDA. He was actually selling a toothpaste that he was telling people would cure COVID. And the FDA asked him to stop making that claim. And one of the questions Owen Troyer was asked was, do you know what the source of these supplements is. Like, where is he getting them? And he did not know. He had no idea. He says, and they ask him, do you consider yourself a journalist? He says, not really. I'm really more of a personality. And he did say that if he had played any part in the continuation of the grief of that family, that it was not his intention to do so, and that he was sorry. Okay. Nice young man, nice looking young man, but when you put him on the air, not so nice. Not so nice. This is very confetti heavy. This little corner has all these different color greens in it. So I think I'm up to the 4th or 5th color green so far. Yeah. And then 4 or 5 pinks that I've put in. Yeah. Not to mention some yellows too. Confetti means in a portion of a diamond painting, confetti is where you take a very small section of the painting and you might have 20, 30 different drills that you have to use. So you have to go get, one container at a time, get the drills out, put it back, get the other container. Yeah, it's very time consuming. But depending on how you diamond paint, it can be even more time consuming. I'm cross country. I just like lay them wherever they are supposed to go. Some people like to, start in a line and move up, or start, they're very like my sister. She's very methodical about it, but that's okay. Her paintings are gorgeous. She's a lot nicer than mine, but it's still fun. It's still artwork. You're still proud of it at the end. So that, not a lot of crafting and crime to talk about today. That's kind of it. So today I'm going to catch up on Nicholas Cruz. I do not believe that the jury has been taken to the site of the mass shooting yet. If they haven't, that will be in the next day or two. And I am going to say it's a good bet that cameras are not going to be accompanying that jury view. That's one thing in my career that I never did. I never had an occasion where I had to go to the scene of something that had happened. And I did some criminal law. A lot of it I did in my last year of law school. I was an intern in the public defender's office in Broward County, Florida. Very busy, very, very busy. And then I went into the civil arena representing doctors, lawyers, hospitals, nursing homes. And there was never an occasion where we had to take someone to view something. Yeah. At least then I can remember. But the criminals I represented I had one guy that had been chasing his girlfriend around the kitchen with a machete. And I'm like, first of all, why do you have a machete? What do you do with a machete? And he had a really good explanation. These were people from Jamaica, and in Jamaica, everybody has a machete. Because you never know if you open your front door, there's a tree there that you need to get it out of the way. I don't know. There was this long explanation of why he needed this machete. And I said, well, could we not chase your girlfriend around the kitchen with the machete? He did not harm her, and I got him, a very light sentence on that, probation. But so ridiculous. Just things you will not find in my kitchen. A machete. No. Criminal law can be fun. It can be, because the things you hear, you just shake your head. You're like, what? Yeah. which is why it's so much fun to bring you guys these stories, because you're like, you just can't make this stuff up. What people will come up with. Oh my gosh, I just want to sit here and do this all day. Just mindlessly put diamonds onto a canvas, because otherwise then I have to think about life and how it's going to proceed over the next half of the year. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. I know. All right, guys, it's a short show today. It's Monday. I have a doctor's appointment in the morning. I have one in the afternoon. And between that, I think I'm going to go stop by the Goodwill and see what I can pick up for my reselling project. Yep. You can get some good stuff there. Sometimes I'm going. The doctor's office that I go to is in the bougie part of town, so I'm going to the bougie Goodwill. Yeah. Oh, hey, I didn't give you this day in history. Let's do that, shall we? So, here's an interesting one. Anne Frank, who was this young girl during the Holocaust who kept a diary. In 1944, August 1st, 1944, she made the last entry into her diary. She was a young girl hiding out in Nazi-occupied Holland, whose diary came to serve as a symbol of the Holocaust. This was 3 days before her family was arrested and placed into the concentration camps. Anne Frank had received this diary when she was 13 years old. She got it on her 13th birthday, and at the time she made today's last entry, she was 15 years old. She spent all of this time hidden in a secret bunker behind her father's business in Amsterdam. Now, here's what she wrote in her final entry, and I will read it to you. As I've told you many times, I'm split in two. One side contains my exuberant cheerfulness, my flippancy, my joy in life, and above all, my ability to appreciate the lighter side of things. By that, I mean not finding anything wrong with flirtations, a kiss, an embrace, an off-color joke. This side of me is usually lying in wait to ambush the other one, which is much purer, deeper, and finer. Her family called her a girl of contradictions. She continues writing, saying, the happy-go-lucky Anne laughs, gives a flippant reply, shrugs her shoulders, and pretends she doesn't give a darn. The quiet Anne reacts in just the opposite way. If I'm being completely honest, I'll have to admit that it does matter to me, that I'm trying very hard to change myself, but that I'm always up against a more powerful enemy. Now, Anne died a year later at the age of 16 from typhoid. Her father, Otto Frank, survived the Holocaust and published her diary in 1947. And it has since become a worldwide bestseller. I have read it. It's just a must read for a young girl growing up. It really is. I think it gives you an insight into the Holocaust, an insight to this young girl's growing up during the Holocaust. Yeah, I do remember Anne Frank. Now we can say goodbye, guys. All right. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow in Crafting and Crime Daily. And don't forget, tonight, Mickey and I are doing a pop-up live, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where we are going to kick off The Great Escape, talk about the different paintings that are there, that are being painted, talk about their, all of our terrific sponsors about the discounts that are being given, the sales that are going on. Oh my gosh, and they all start today. So I'll see you guys tonight, and if not, I'll see you tomorrow. Love you all. Bye.